It's a privilege indeed to have everyone here today. I wish my husband Bob could be with us. He's doing a lot better. We've had our highs and lows, but he was not able to be here today. But I just want to share with you something that many of you already know. It was about 3 years ago when Bob and I were visiting the World War II Memorial. We were visiting veterans at their memorial. We do this often when the weather permits, every Saturday. And one of Bob's fellow veterans just suddenly shouted, "Senator Dole, you're standing in a pool of blood." Well, we completed our visits quickly, and we rushed Bob to Walter Reed Army Medical Center, at what stretched into an extended period of time. This was in 2010. I visited Bob just about every day for those many months. And in doing so, I met scores of wounded warriors and their caregivers, like the wife who was sleeping on a pallet by her husband's bed, and the father who was wrapped up in a blanket, sitting in a chair, just watching over his son. And I was enormously inspired by the unwavering courage of these warriors and the deep commitment shown by their family caregivers, ladies and gentlemen. I listened carefully to hundreds and hundreds of the caregivers as we've gone in groups to dinner together while I was at Walter Reed for so many months. We'd go down to our nation's capital here, and I found that many of them had never been to the Capitol. They'd never seen the monuments. And then later, we had an opportunity to have many of them visit in our home. We as a nation must do a far better job supporting them. And I've been struck by a sense of urgency. They talked about navigating bureaucratic obstacles, as you've already heard today, and trying to ensure the continuity of care across multiple health providers who work under different structures. Many are uncertain about what benefits are available and how to access them, and they're struggling desperately to cope with this life-changing course of events. That's why, after a lot of thought, I decided to launch Caring for Military Families, the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. We hope to raise awareness of these hidden heroes and their enormous challenges, and to make life a little better for military service members and veterans who've suffered physical injuries and visible wounds of war, as well as both, because we want to provide more robust assistance for their caregivers. There are groups who are doing many things for this generation of wounded warrior caregivers, both from the government side and the private sector. But ladies and gentlemen, there's no national strategy. Our nation is in a very unique period in history for a variety of reasons. First, we've been at war for a longer time than at any point in our history. Second, advances in battlefield medicine are enabling many of our troops to survive who would have lost their lives in former wars. Third, hundreds of thousands of that 1% of our population defending our freedom and our security have suffered multiple wounds, illnesses, and injuries that will require significant care from a spouse, a mother, a father, or other loved one for months, years, or perhaps even decades to come. Thousands of child caregivers are involved as well. Because of the confluence of these dynamics, we find ourselves at a critical time as a nation regarding how we support the caregivers of today's military members and veterans. I therefore commissioned the RAND Corporation to undertake a comprehensive evidence-based study of military and veteran family caregivers. And this will be the first ever in terms of a comprehensive evidence-based study. RAND will assess the needs of these caregivers, determine the gaps in services to them, and provide actionable recommendations designed to achieve measurable, concrete impact. In other words, this study has the potential to help us launch a national strategy for caregivers of today's generation of military members and veterans.